Hi, and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Now this is going to be just a short review and a tutorial of this little W-214 because it's one of the candidates for the torture tests that are upcoming, where I'm going to compare just how tough this is against a G-Shock, so make sure to stay tuned for that as well. Now the reason why I'm doing this tutorial is that this little watch is pretty cool with its unique countdown timer function, and because everything is done a little different than what we're used to on Casio watches. So I know a lot of people probably who bought it and are used to Casio watches are probably going to get confused with some of the functions. I mean, not with some of the functions, but the way you set up the functions, because they're, like I said, unusual. So we'll just show it how to use it. However, before that, I just wanted to say a few things. Now, this is a regular Casio watch that it's inspired by its bigger brother, the 6900 G-Shock. And it's a pretty small watch by G-Shock standards or Casio standards, because it has a diameter of 54.4 and a lug-to-lug of about 48. Now, although the dimensions would say that it's a pretty large watch, trust me, it's not. It wears very small on the wrist because of the shape, and it's pretty slim compared to a G-Shock. Now, in the title, I named this watch the cooking timer because my wife has this one, the exact same one, just in red, and she uses it for cooking all the time because it has such a unique and simple to use countdown timer. And that's the first thing that I'm going to show you. So the unusual thing is that if you go through the modes, you will see that there's no countdown timer at all. And the reason is that on this watch, to enter the countdown timer and to adjust it and to start it, you do all that by a single press of a button, and it's this button right here. So how does it work? Well, this is a 30-minute countdown timer with pre-selected times. So you cannot choose any time you want, but you have to choose one of the pre-selected times. And if you look closely, you will see that this third eye, the one that's mostly to the right, has little numbers 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 30. Now those are the pre-selected times for the countdown timer. So how do you activate it? Well, by pressing the button once, you will activate the 1-minute countdown timer. So as soon as you release the button, the watch starts counting down from 1 minute. So with a single press of the button, you went into the countdown timer, you set it up, and you started, which is pretty brilliant. So if you want, let's say, a 5-minute countdown timer, you just press it 2 more times. There, and the watch just started counting down from 5 minutes. And it's the same for any one of these. So if you want a 20-minute countdown timer, you will go to 20 and stop. And as soon as you stop, the watch is going to start counting down. So how do you cancel a countdown timer? You go to 30 and press it once more to clear the screen. And now nothing is counting down. Now this is pretty brilliant because in time, let's say my wife memorized how many presses of a button is a certain countdown timer. So she doesn't even have to look at the watch. If she needs, let's say, a 5-minute countdown timer, she's just going to keep doing what she's doing and just press this 3 times and done. She's not even looking at the watch. She knows that she set up the countdown timer to 5 minutes, which is, like I said, pretty brilliant. Now, to track the progress of the countdown timer, naturally you cannot see the exact second and minute of how much time you have left. However, as you can see now, once we've set it up like this for 20 minutes, as long as this 20-minute mark is blinking, that means that the countdown timer is between 20 and 15 minutes. Once it reaches 15 minutes, this segment is going to turn itself off, and the 15-minute segment is going to start blinking, meaning that we're between 15 and 10, and so on until we reach 0. And these segments are becoming smaller and smaller as you near 0. So we'll go to 5, then to 3, then to 1. So you can still track the progress and know approximately how much time you have left until you reach the last minute. Then you will know that you have just 1 minute left. So it's, again, pretty brilliant way. Not as precise as a regular countdown timer, but to me it's well worth it because if you used a regular countdown timer, and if you use it often, let's say for cooking or something, you would have to use the mode button to get to the countdown timer, then press the adjust button to enter the adjusting mode of the countdown timer. Then you would have to use these buttons to set up the desired minutes, then exit the adjusting mode of the countdown timer, and then start the countdown timer. Now that's at least 10 button presses, if not more. And as you can see, this one is 1, 2, 3, up to 7 presses if you really want the 30-minute countdown timer. And you don't even have to look at the watch. You just hear the beeps and you set it up for the desired time. So like I said, a pretty brilliant and very simple way of using a countdown timer easily and fast. Now the weirdness of this watch doesn't stop there. So if you want to set up the time, you don't press this button. As you just saw, it activates the countdown timer. Instead, the adjusting mode is just another mode that you cycle through with the mode button. That's 3 times mode. Okay, so pressing it, you go to the alarm, to the stopwatch, and the adjusting mode. So once you're in the adjusting mode, then you adjust things, and you use these 2 buttons. This button is used to change values, like let's say the seconds, and again, like on all Casio watches, if you press them now between 30 and 59, the seconds are going to reset, but the minutes are going to move by 1 up. Or if you reset them between 1 and 29, like so, the seconds are going to reset, but the minutes are going to stay unchanged. So with this button, you change the values, and with this button, you toggle through different values that you're going to change. Unfortunately, there's no back button right here, so you can only go one way with this button. So once you've set up the seconds, you press this button. You don't press the mode button, because if you press the mode button, the watch is just going to go back to the home screen. So that's something to remember, and this is also something that's different to Casio watches. So let's go back to the adjusting screen. With this button, you go to the hours, and now you change them up and only up. And you can also speed scroll like so, like if you press and hold, like so. Okay, pressing this upper, as you can see, my finger keeps going to the mode button because I'm used to that. Okay, pressing this is now going to take you to the minutes. Again, you can go only one way, and you can speed scroll. Pressing it again is going to take you to the 12 and 24-hour selection. If you select 12, you're going to have the AM PM. If you select 24, you're going to have the military time. Pressing the upper button again asks you for the year, and over here, please don't speed scroll, because if you miss it, you're going to have to go all the way to the 2039 or 2099, depending on what it's set up for. Pressing it again is going to ask you for the month. Pressing it again is going to ask you for the date. And this watch actually asks you for the day of the week. It doesn't calculate it automatically, so you have to change that as well, which is again very unusual for Casio watches. Pressing this button again cycles you back to the seconds, so if you missed something, you can change it again by going with this button to the desired value. Once you've set up everything, you press the mode button, and it's going to jump back to the home screen. And that's pretty much it. I forgot to mention that the watch naturally has a backlight, and it's the incandescent bulb on the side. Okay, moving on to the next function. The next function is the alarm. And please note that in all the functions, the watch is going to display the current time right here, which is very practical. Now, once in the alarm, using this button is going to toggle the alarm, the hourly chime, to on or off. So if you press it once, you're going to activate the alarm. This is the symbol for the alarm. Pressing it again is going to activate the hourly chime, like so. Pressing it again is going to activate both. And if you press it again, it's going to deactivate both. So by using this button, you just toggle between what's on and what's off. To set up the alarm, you press the reset button. And now the alarm is going to be turned on automatically, and it's going to ask you for the hours. Now with this button, again, you can go only up and you can speed scroll. Now to go to the minutes, again, don't press the mode button, as it's going to take you back to the home screen. Instead, you press the reset button, and it's going to ask you for the minutes. Once you've set up the minutes, to exit the adjusting of the alarm, you simply press this again. So with this, you toggle between the hours, the minutes, and exiting the adjusting mode. Once you've set up the alarm, it's going to go off at 4:05 every day, as it's a daily alarm. To turn it off, you simply toggle with this until you've turned it off. And that's pretty much it. Very simple. And the last function, one more thing that I wanted to mention is that as soon as you change anything in any of the functions, The next press of the mode button takes you back to the home screen. Now this is something that older Casio watches, they all had it, but with newer models they kind of ditched this function, and now you have to press the mode button for a long time for it to go back to the home screen. I actually like this option better, because if I'm going to the alarm and setting something in the alarm, it is logical to assume that I just wanted to set up the alarm and that after that I just want to go back to the home screen. But modern Casio watches, like I said, will take you through all the modes until you reach the home screen. So this, in my opinion, is better. Okay, and the last function is the stopwatch. And even the stopwatch is not what you usually find on Casio watches, because it's so simple, it doesn't even have split times or first and second place. So you can only start it, stop it, and reset it with the upper button. And that's it. So if I start it and try to do the split time with this button, it doesn't do anything. So as you can see, it can only do the start, stop, and reset. So stop it, reset it. And as you can see, the time is still visible even in the stopwatch. And pressing the mode button takes you back to the home screen. Well, this is pretty much it. Like I said, a very cool watch with some unique ways of setting up the functions. And I really love this simple countdown timer. So if you need a countdown timer that has these pre-selected times and you want something as simple and as fast as possible, this really is the watch for you. Anyway, stay tuned for the torture video to see just how tough this little watch is. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. And until the next video, bye.